Dad, you've been a funeral director now for 40 years, and in the last video you mentioned briefly about a remembrance service. Can you go into more detail about that?
Yes, certainly. We started a remembrance service 30-something years ago. I had no idea what I was doing, but I felt in our bereavement support follow-up with families that they needed something around Christmas to include that person who was missing. I did an ad in the paper which had a picture of a boy hanging a Christmas stocking on the fireplace, and there was only one stocking this year instead of two. And it was all about having to include that person who's not there in Christmas. You still need to hang that second stocking. And in our early days, I can remember actually putting some stockings together for some people I knew who had a loss around Christmas. That was quite poignant, and actually sneaking around to their house and leaving a stocking at their front door. There's cool things you can do to include people in Christmas. So I decided we'd have a gathering, invite people who'd had a death during the year, and say, come to this service at Christmas specifically to remember the person that you loved. And I saw lots of people do things like repeating all the names and having photos, and I saw that might be a big problem if you miss someone out or someone came out the last minute. So I just said to people, I'm going to put a Christmas tree up the front, an empty blank Christmas tree, and I invite you to bring a card or a decoration to remember that person specifically and hang it on the tree. And I arranged with the library that we actually then took that tree over to the library and left it there until the new year so anybody could come and add to that tree. It's morphed and changed in the years since. We now just give people a card when they arrive and get them to sit in quiet before the service and write a message. Some people who've been for a few years will actually bring a message already prepared. And then we just do things like we sing together, we tell a story, a kid's story with pictures on the screen, because it's amazing how the kids' stories have far more impact than too many of the adult ones. But it really, we specifically draw in a theme, and it's all about the person that they've come to remember. So in the busyness of Christmas, when everyone else is going, I've got to get on with my Christmas stuff, there's a time just to come together, slow down, be peaceful, and put that person you've come to remember right in the middle of it.
What if you're not from Kapiti?
Yeah, so this is something we do on the Kapiti coast. There are quite a few remembrance services all around New Zealand now. Some of the churches, the idea actually came from the original churches had an All Souls Day, which I believe is where Halloween actually came from, and that was always around Christmas, of course. And so some of the churches still do these as well, and some churches specifically around Christmas will have a space where you can come and light a candle and sit and just spend some contemplative time. So there are options out there. If you don't know about some of the options in your area, go and talk to a funeral director. They're a great source of where those free services are.
What are any other sort of final thoughts that might help some people during grieving? Yeah,
so final thoughts around Christmas and New Year, I think just highlighting what I said before. If you think of someone, and we all do through this period, don't just let that thought sit. Do something about it. Whether it is putting together a stocking and sneakily hiding it and putting it in their front door on Christmas Eve, or whether it is just texting them, I'm thinking of you, whether it is making that phone call. Really, we've even invited people to our place for Christmas. It's amazing how many people are alone at Christmas. Just go with them and gather with them and invite them into your place. If that's too much, like I say, a text or a phone call. Any little thing that is an action to include people rather than a nice thought is nothing without an action to follow.